When you think of traveling to Korea, the first city that comes to mind is Seoul. But if you had time to visit another city, would it be Busan, Jeonju, or Jeju? Today, I'll take you to Jeju Island, a place Koreans love, and one I highly recommend to visitors. Jeju is full of volcanic landscapes, mountains meeting the sea, and foods you can only taste here. In this video, I'll share my 2-night, 3-day trip and introduce must-try foods along the way. I'll circle the island counter-clockwise. Dameguksu. The first stop was Dameguksu, often called the original of Jeju's pork noodle soup. The broth is made by simmering pork bones until it's rich and flavorful, and the chewy noodles make it a hearty meal. It's a dish loved not only by locals but also by travelers, and truly a representative food of Jeju. For me, it had been such a long time since I last came here. The first time I visited was about 15 years ago, when it was just a small restaurant and you had to wait in a long line outside. I was honestly surprised to see it had grown to such a huge building now. Here's a tip. You can use an app called Catch Table to join the virtual waiting list before arriving, which saves a lot of time. I just went directly and waited, and there were about 80 groups ahead of me, so it took around 45 minutes. 오설록 티 박물관. Next up was the most famous tea cultural space in Jeju, the Osolok Tea Museum. Honestly, it feels like almost every tourist who comes to Jeju stops by here. From tea-based drinks to desserts and ice cream that represent Jeju, it would be a shame to skip it. Inside, you can also shop for various tea-related souvenirs. And once you step outside, you'll find yourself surrounded by wide green tea fields. Just walking around is such a relaxing experience. There's also a special area called the Tea Stone Gallery, which is designed like a wine cellar. Here, tea is fermented and aged in oak barrels, with each batch managed differently by aging time and tea variety. You can even taste teas that have been aged for years. So if you're interested in tea culture, it's definitely worth experiencing.
차가 되겠습니다. 두 번째 차는 오크베럴 숙성차입니다. 한번 드셔보세요. 네, 마지막으로 시음하실 차는 이제 첫 번째 방에서 나온 차이고요. 삼나무 숙성차가 되겠습니다. 앞에 드셨던 두 가지 차들보다는 조금 더 진한
Sanbangsan Bomunsa. Next, we went to Sanbangsan Bomunsa Temple, a small temple located at the foot of Sanbangsan Mountain. In front of you is the ocean, and behind you rises the mountain, so the view is absolutely stunning. You can walk around the temple area freely, but to go inside the cave temple, called Sanbangulsa, you need to pay an entrance fee. Inside the natural cave, a Buddha statue is enshrined, and the atmosphere feels very different. It's a really peaceful spot to calm your mind for a moment. 용머리 해안. Right next to it is 용머리 Coast. If I had to choose just one place in Jeju that left the deepest impression on me, I wouldn't hesitate to pick this one. I've visited Jeju many times, and this was already my third visit here. But every time I come, I'm once again blown away by its grandeur. The cliffs were carved out by waves over millions of years, forming layers that resemble a dragon's head, hence the name Yongmori, which means dragon head. Walking along the path by the sea, you can truly feel the magnificence of Jeju's natural landscape. But keep in mind that entry is restricted during high tide or bad weather, so you must check the tide schedule in advance to enjoy it safely. 서귀포 매일올레 시장. In the evening, I went to 서귀포 매일올레 market. This place brings together all the flavors of Jeju. Black pork skewers, abalone gimbap, and fresh halabong juice. Snacking and exploring the stalls was so much fun. I also went to a nearby restaurant for sashimi. One dish you can only find in Jeju is mackerel sashimi. It has a fresh ocean taste you won't forget. If you get the chance, you should definitely try it. The next morning began with a must-try dish in Jeju, abalone seafood stew. Abalone is considered an expensive seafood in Korea, but this stew comes packed with it. On top of that, you get conch, shrimp, and all kinds of other seafood, making the broth so rich and flavorful. That hot ocean-scented bowl was the perfect way to recharge and warm up during the trip, a truly nourishing dish. Bontae 박물관. Then I changed things up with a visit to the Bontae Museum. The building was designed by world-renowned Japanese architect Tadao Ando, blending beautifully with Jeju's natural surroundings. The exhibitions were impressive as well. The first gallery, titled In Search of Beauty, presents a collection of traditional Korean handicrafts. And next, there were works by Salvador Dali, Picasso, and Yayoi Kusama. There was even a separate hall dedicated to Namjoon Park, the famous Korean video art pioneer. What surprised me most was finding two of Kusama's works here that you'd normally have to go all the way to the Yayoi Kusama Museum in Japan to see. Here's another tip. If you visit before noon, you can get a $7 discount on the entrance fee, but you have to book in advance through Naver. Cheonjeon Pokpo. Jeju's Seogwipo area is full of waterfalls, but if I had to recommend just one, it would be Cheonjeon Falls. This waterfall flows in 3 tiers through a lush forest, creating a mysterious and almost magical atmosphere. When I visited, it hadn't rained for a while, so the flow was weaker and a little disappointing. But if you come after heavy rain, the sight of the powerful cascade is truly breathtaking. Seokak. Next was Seokak, a place where the sea and river meet. Unfortunately, when I visited, there was construction near the seaside, so the view wasn't at its best. But the real charm here is the kayaking. Paddling between the cliffs on clear emerald water was such a unique experience, something you can only really do in Jeju. On the way to Songsan Il-chubong, I made a quick stop to enjoy some apple mango. This fruit is a must try in Jeju. One bite and the sweet, soft juice fills your mouth. It's the perfect little refreshment to brighten up the middle of your journey. Songsan Il-chubong. The last stop of the day was one of Jeju's most iconic landmarks, Songsan Il-chubong, also known as Sunrise Peak. It was designated a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site in 2007, recognized globally for its value as a volcanic formation. There are 2 ways to experience it. You can walk around the outside for free, or you can pay to enter the main trail. I highly recommend the paid route. Once you reach the top, the massive crater and panoramic ocean view are simply overwhelming. And if you time your visit for sunrise, it's an unforgettable sight. After a hot day of trekking, dinner was all about Jeju's famous black pork. If you've been to Korea, you probably know Korean BBQ is a must, but Jeju black pork is an absolute must-try when you're here. Compared to regular pork belly, the texture is a bit different, and the unique dipping sauce is salted anchovy sauce, called maejut. The soybean paste stew, doenjangjjigae that came on the side, also had a Jeju twist. It was filled with seafood, giving the broth a much deeper, richer flavor. For my second night, I booked a pension close to the next day's schedule. It was affordable, and the host was incredibly kind. The best part was the handmade breakfast in the morning. I had actually chosen this place after reading reviews on Agoda that praised the host's kindness and the quality of the breakfast, and I have to say, it lived up to the hype. 검은 얼음. In the north of Jeju, there's Manjangul Lava Tour, which is usually a must visit. But unfortunately, it's been closed for a long renovation. So instead, I booked a special trekking experience at 검은 얼음. This isn't a place you can just show up at any time. The number of visitors per day is limited, and you need a reservation and a pass to enter. Plus, you have to join the guided tour with a professional interpreter. 검은 얼음 is also a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site. Walking along the forest paths formed by volcanic activity, I learned about Jeju's geology while enjoying the tranquility of the forest. What left the biggest impression was the quiet of the forest and how the scenery changed with every step. I might have missed out on Manjangul, but this experience at 검은 얼음 felt even more special and rewarding. Summit.
아닌 게 아니라
네, 여기가 2전망대입니다. 아까 1전망대에서 볼 수 없었던 노름들이 마치 파노라마처럼 이렇게 펼쳐지고 있습니다. 네, 날씨가 좋았으면 저 멀리 바다까지 보일 겁니다. 여기 용암이 가득 아까 평균 10m 이상 쌓인다 그랬죠. 많이 쌓이는 곳은 30m. 여기 밑으로 들어가면 습도는 거의 100%고 내부 온도는 연중 일정한 수준을 유지한다 그랬습니다. 그러다 보니까 외부 온도에 따라서 얘네들은
Another dish you really have to try in Jeju is bomal kalguksu. Bomal is a small sea snail found along the coast, and it gives the soup such a deep, refreshing flavor. The chewy noodles mixed with the ocean aroma made this bowl something truly unique to Jeju. Daemundo Cafe. After the meal, I stopped by the Daemundo Cafe. This place became even more famous as a filming location for the Netflix drama, When Life Gives You Tangerines. Sitting here with a cup of coffee while looking out at the wide open ocean view was the perfect way to relax. If you're a fan of the drama, this cafe is a must-visit spot. Gimyeong 해변. The final stop of my Jeju trip was Gimyeong Beach. The weather in Jeju changes so quickly it poured rain for a while, and I thought I wouldn't be able to visit, but luckily the sky cleared up just in time. The dazzling white sand and emerald blue sea stretched out before me, showing off the beauty of Jeju's coastline. The shallow, clear water is perfect for swimming, but even just walking along the beach felt like pure healing. And that wraps up my 2-night, 3-day journey in Jeju. It was a short trip, but I was able to experience the island's natural beauty and taste its unique foods up close. I hope this journey also brings you a little inspiration and a sense of rest.